In Parshat Miketz, we famously see Paro having Yosef decipher his two dreams. The first with the seven lean cows eating up seven healthy cows, and the second with seven shriveled stalks of grain consuming seven healthy stalks of grain. When Paro's magicians can't figure out what these dreams mean, Paro has Yosef come, and Yosef predicts that it means 7 years of prosperity followed by 7 years of famine. When reading over this text, it was impossible for me not to be reminded of the very first time, or one of the first times we meet Yosef, which is in Parshat Miketz. He has just had his own two dreams, and he is telling his brothers about them, and sharing his view, which is that these dreams mean he will one day be superior to his brothers. So the reason why I was able to draw this link was because in both scenarios, with the dreams of Yosef and the dreams of Paro, there are two dreams rather than one, and there could have been one. Each dream has the same message. And also, both dreams have this motif of grain. Yosef's first dream talks about grain, and Paro's second dream talks about grain. So, after taking into consideration this link, I was left with another question. Why was it necessary that Paro would have this second dream? It would have been sufficient if he only had the first dream with 7 lean cows eating 7 healthy cows, and then for Yosef to interpret the dream based on that, he would have come probably to the same conclusion. So why was the second dream necessary? Because of this recurring grain motif in both Yosef's dreams and in Paro's dreams, I came to the conclusion that this second dream was actually not to talk about the famine or the prosperity, but was actually for Yosef and not for Paro or not for the Mitzrim. It was to remind Yosef of his past errors. When we first meet him, he's very arrogant, he's very full of himself, he's his father's favorite. And while his brothers treat him cruelly, he does provoke them in some ways. This is not to justify their actions, but it is to show that he was not completely innocent, and he too had many character flaws. So, when Yosef hears the second dream about the grain, he is reminded of his original two dreams and of his own arrogance. He is shortly about to be placed in a situation where he could really destroy his brothers. They're about to come before him. And he could be awful to them, he could kill them, he could do whatever he wants. But God is sending this second dream with the grain to remind Yosef to be merciful, because he too was imperfect. He was not totally the innocent party in the conflict with his brothers. So, God is sending us an important message. We can't move on to new horizons without remembering the past, because it's very likely that we will be placed in similar situations, whether we're interacting with people we've interacted before, or whether we're placed in analogous situations. None of us is perfect, none of us is perfectly humble, but we need to take into account all of our past wrongs and our past errors and try to rectify them as we move forward. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.